Hey guys, it's Sarah, and I have a book haul to do, and you're not gonna see many book hauls from me. The reason is that if you've seen my Goodreads page, which I'll leave a link to my Goodreads page if you want to check it out, my TBR list is like over 200. Yikes. And a lot of those are books that I own between my bookshelf and my Kindle. Most are on my Kindle, but yeah, I own a lot of books that I have not read yet. So because of that, I don't go to bookstores very often and just like buy a bunch of books or buy a bunch of books online because I have so many. I have so many. I could read for the next 4 years straight and not need to buy a book, literally. That ain't gonna happen. But I don't know. I don't binge buy books very often. Every once in a while I do. But yeah, so I just don't. So what I'm going to show you today, the reason I have a haul today is because this morning I bought 14 books. And I did that because our local library here they're doing the sale. I don't know if they do it continuously or not. It's the first time I've heard of it. But you go in and they have this big, huge room in the back. Like I went down this really long hallway with a bunch of turns and I was like, where are we going? I'm getting a little nervous. But it's this huge room in the back and it's full, just jam-packed of books. And they give you like, I got a Walmart bag, so it's like a grocery bag. And you can fill it up until it's full. And then that one grocery bag is $1. It doesn't matter what's in there. It doesn't matter how many books are in there. If it fits in the bag, it's $1. I'm in, right? So I went to go check it out this morning and I ended up getting 10 books and it was good. I was very picky. I didn't just like grab anything and everything. I only took things that piqued my interest or things that I knew I wanted to read. And yeah, so that was good. After that, I also went to our local Goodwill just to kind of see what their book selection is like. I hadn't been in there yet. And they had a pretty good selection and I got 4 really like good thick books there too. So I think I made out pretty well this morning. And I also, like, we don't have a bookstore here that's just for books. We don't have a Barnes & Noble, we don't have a Books A Million, we don't have anything like that in our town. If we want that, we have to go to Texas, and we don't do that very often. So yeah, I guess that probably helps. It probably helps that we don't have anything like that here. So, all right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you what I bought. Okay, so the first book that I picked up at the library is The Shack by, I think it's William Paul Young. It says W.M. Paul Young. I don't know if that's like abbreviated for William or what. But this has been on my to-read list for a long time, and I thought I had it on my Kindle for the longest time, but it's not there. So I don't know if I had it and then it disappeared somehow or what. I swear I had this though. And then I had it in paperback. I had this. And I think I donated it because I had it on my Kindle. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Anyway, this was the first book I saw and it's the first book I picked up too. So I'm excited to read this one. This one I believe has a very strong faith. It's a fiction, but I think it's a very strong faith-based book. Like it's based a lot around faith and religion. And I believe that God in this one is depicted as a woman. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm excited to read this one. Okay, the second book that I got at the library is The Book Thief by Marcus Cusack. So, this book, okay, this is going to fulfill one of my reading challenge prompts this year as a book that I started but never finished. Yeah, I got this book from the library pretty soon after it came out, I think, or it was pretty soon after it started getting really popular and a lot of people were reading it and loving it, and I was like, I have to check out this book. And so I checked it out from the library and I got about 25% maybe through it, like maybe 60 or 70 pages. And I did not have any clue what was going on. I don't know if it was like I was in a bad mind frame at the time or I just couldn't concentrate or what, but I could not focus on this book at all. And I was just like, so I took it back. I never finished it. So when I saw the prompt on this reading challenge that I'm doing this year, which I have a link down below if you want to check it out, there was a prompt to read a book that you started but never finished. So that's going to fulfill this one. I want to try it. I have not seen the movie. I don't really have a desire to see the movie unless I read this and then absolutely love it, then I will. So I'm really going into this really kind of blind. I really don't know exactly what it's about. So yeah, got that one. Okay, so these next two books that I got at the library are two books that I've never heard of before, and I just read the synopsis inside the dust jackets and they sounded interesting, so I picked them up. The first one is called Alternative Atlanta by Marshall Boswell. It's a fiction, and I think from what I'm understanding, it's set in Atlanta, and it's about a guy who had graduated college and like kind of saw all his friends kind of succeeding and getting married and, you know, doing that, and he's kind of stuck where he is. And then one summer his father finds him, I think they were estranged or something, but his father finds him and asked to move in because he's having health issues, and he like reveals some family secrets, and they kind of go through this whole emotional roller coaster with their relationship. So I thought it sounded pretty interesting. It's a little bit short. It's not like a really long read, and Atlanta caught me because my mom is from right outside Atlanta, so I was like, hey, maybe I'll know some places because I've been to Atlanta quite a bit. So yeah, I picked that one up. Another book that I picked up at the library that I had not heard of before is The Psalm Killer by Chris Petite. And it caught my eye because, you know, it says The Psalm Killer, which it's, you know, psalm is in like psalms from the Bible. I thought maybe it would be like a killer who did murders based on Psalms scripture maybe, and I thought that sounded kind of interesting. But I don't think that's what it's about. So I don't know. But I read the synopsis, and it's like a murder mystery, follows some cops and stuff like that. So yeah, I picked it up. Cheapo. We'll see if I like it or not. Also at the library, I picked up a copy of London Bridges by James Patterson. This is part of his Alex Cross series, which I am reading and love. I have not binge read them. I think I'm only on like the 4th or 5th book. I think I'm on Violets or Blue. That's the next one I need to read. Which I should, because Roses Are Red like left on a super crazy cliffhanger. Like my jaw was on the floor. So I should probably pick this back up. So yeah, this is just part of a series. I know I'm going to read it eventually when I get to this number in the series. So went ahead and got this one. Also at the library, I went ahead and picked up a couple of classics that I have never read before. So I was excited to grab a couple of those. The first one is The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. So confession time, I've never read Ernest Hemingway. Cone of Shame. I know, cone of shame on me right now because I have not ever read Ernest Hemingway. I know who he is. I know he writes books. I know he wrote some books that are like people's favorites, and he's like people's favorites authors ever. But I haven't read anything. So I saw this one. I went ahead and grabbed it. So hopefully I'm going to like it. I have no clue what it's about. It was written in 1926, so we'll see that. But yeah, I'm excited to read it. I want to start picking up classics every once in a while, things I haven't read, because I'll be honest with you, I had a very terrible school experience as far as reading classics because none of my high school or college teachers ever had us read classics. The only one I remember reading was The Scarlet Letter, and that is it. So fail on public school part. Another book that I picked up, I guess, I don't know if it's really technically a classic, but it's something that is popular and a lot of people have read it, and it was written in the 20s as well by an African-American woman, and her name is Zora Neale Hurston, and it is Their Eyes Were Watching God. And I have heard about this a lot because of Oprah. Oprah picked this for like one of her book clubs, I think, when she was doing her book club on her show. The problem I have had with Oprah and her book club is if I would try to read something that she picked, it was like my brain could not comprehend the content of the books, like ever. Like I felt dumb reading them because I was just like, I don't understand any of this stuff. I don't know why you think this is a great book because I have no clue what's going on. But anyway, so I heard about it because of that, and I figured I'm going to give it a try. So Their Eyes Were Watching God. We'll see how this one goes. So the third classic that I picked up at the library is a copy of Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. This is my favorite stage show ever. I've seen it 3 times. I would see it again in a heartbeat. I love me some Jean Valjean, for real. So And the movie, oh my gosh, the movie. Don't get me started on Anne Hathaway in that movie. Don't get me started. Oh, perfection, perfection. So I wanted to pick this up because I actually was reading, I tried to read this in high school. I think it was my senior year. Our English teacher had a table full of books and we were supposed to pick one and then, like, you know, write a report on it or write a paper on it or something. And I picked up Les Mis because I knew the storyline. I'd already seen the play at this time. So I kind of figured I'd be able to, like, you know, I can do this, no problem. And in high school, I had a hard time reading it, and I think it was because I had an edition that was like had really hard language to follow. This one is an abridged version, so I think it is a little like it has easier language to read. And just flipping through it, I read a couple paragraphs, and I was like, oh, that's like in English, like that's easier to read. I'm gonna understand this now. So I want to read this for sure. I am going to read it going in, trying not to think about the play because I'm sure it's different. So I'm going to try to appreciate this for the written word that it is and not the Broadway. I'm going to try not to sing along while I'm reading this book. I'm going to try not to burst out into song. It might happen though. Another book that I picked up, I actually picked up for Kaylin, and it's not something she's going to be able to read right now because she's only 7. But when she's old enough to read this book, I think she's going to really enjoy it. And it's actually, it's a version of Peter Pan, and I don't think this is the first one. I think this is one in a series, and this is not the first one. But it's called Peter and the Secret of Dune. So it's a Peter Pan story. It's got Pan and Hook and Tinkerbell and everything in it, but they go on different adventures and stuff. And this is actually a Disney version of it, like a Disney edition. It says Disney editions right there. So this is written by Dave Barry, who is a phenomenal comedic writer, guys. If you have not read a Dave Barry book, oh my gosh, you will be crying. He is really funny. And Ridley Pearson also collaborated and wrote this book together. So it's really thick, but it's a really good copy. It looks like there was a tiny bit of water damage on it, but it's nothing, like it doesn't affect the pages really. Really, really cool artwork in it as well. So when Kaylin is old enough, she's going to be able to read this, and I'm excited. I may have to maybe try to get my hands on the first one in this series because this is not the first one, but you know, it was really cheap, so I went ahead and stuck it into my bags. And the last book that I picked up at the library is actually, it's a daily devotional book. It's called My Utmost for His Highest, and it's by Oswald Chambers. So it's a daily devotional, you know, Bible type thing. So I kind of went through, and there's one for every day of the year. And so I kind of just read a few of the passages, and I really liked them. So it's not something that I'm probably, you know, this would be something that I take a year to go through, or maybe I'll just pick it up whenever I feel like I need something like that. But it was, you know, again, cheap, so I grabbed that one. Okay, so total at the library, I picked up 10 different books, and I paid $1 for them, so that goes down to 10 cents a book. Like, seriously? 10 cents a book. Love that. Okay, so now let's talk about what I got at Goodwill. I got 4 different books at Goodwill. The hardback books were $3.99 and the large paperback books were $2.99. So I ended up getting 4 total. I got 1 hardback and 3 paperbacks. Let me show you what I got. Okay, this first one, guys, I tried not to jump up and down in the middle of Goodwill because I was so excited that I got it. It's called The One and Only by Emily Giffin. This is her newest book. Like it came out, I think, last summer, I want to say. Oh, and it's hardback, and it's like in perfect condition. This is perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. Like there's not even a scratch on it. And I paid $3.99 for this. Like, I have no clue what this is about. I really honestly don't. But Emily Giffin is one of those authors that I will automatically buy what she writes because I love her stories. They're very light, they're very airy, they're, you know, like chick lit, I guess you would call it, or romantic comedies or something. But she wrote Something Borrowed, which was a movie, which was a really good movie. And Something Blue was the sequel. I don't know if they're going to make a movie out of that. I hope they do because I really liked it. But those are probably her most famous ones. And then I have 4 other of her books sitting on my bookshelf, which I have not read yet, but I'm excited to. So I'm excited to add this one to my shelf as well. Very, very happy about this one. Another book that I picked up at Goodwill today is a copy of Beautiful Creatures, and this is written by Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll. This is the first book in a series. It's showing on the back there's 4 of them as of right now. I don't know if there's going to be any more or not. I think there's vampires. I think this is a vampire book. I'm picky about vampire books. I have a couple of favorite series that I like, and then I have tried other things, and then I promptly put them down because I was like, nah. So I don't know how this one's gonna go. I'm hearing mixed things about this one. Some people love them. Some people were like, it's okay. Even if it's just okay, you know, if I can make it through, then I'll be good. I don't know if I would read the other ones or not, but I'm gonna give this one a try. But the blurb on the back says, give this to fans of Stephenie Meyer's Twilight or HBO's True Blood series. I liked both of those, so hoping I'm gonna like this one too. Okay, this next book that I got at Goodwill, I actually just added to my Goodreads list of things that I wanted to read because I actually just heard about it. Seriously guys, Kona Shame. School system, terrible. I'd never heard about it, but I had a friend of mine that I follow on Instagram. She's reading it right now and was raving about it. And then a whole bunch of people were commenting and like saying, yes, that book is so good. I can't believe you never read it. Oh my gosh, I love that book. One of my favorites of all time. And I'm like, what is this book? I need to read it apparently. I have no clue what it's about. No clue. But I literally just put it on my list, and then I went to Goodwill today and saw it, and I'm like, obviously I should read it, right? And it is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. So I have no clue what it's about, but I'm gonna read it because it's a classic. It says on here that it's a classic. So yeah, I really don't have any clue what it's about, but people are raving about it, so I'm gonna give it a try. Okay, so this last book that I picked up at Goodwill this morning is actually a religious book. It's you know, faith-based, and that's something I want to start reading, a faith-based book every so often. I just kind of want to read something about it, and it's called The Heart of the Story: God's Masterful Design to Restore His People, and it's by Randy Frazee. Yeah, Randy Frazee. So I don't really know what it's about. I mean, God's plans. So, but Randy Frazee is actually a minister in San Antonio, Texas, and we used to live in San Antonio, and I've never heard of that church. We didn't go to church in San Antonio, but yeah, so I'm excited to give this one a read at some point in time. Just every once in a while, I want to have like a little bit of a collection that I can go to when I feel like I kind of want to do some more reading about the Bible and faith and, you know, religion and stuff like that. So I'm going to add this to my very small but growing collection. Hey guys, so that's what I got today. It's a little taste of what I got today. I can't pick them all up because my arms will probably fall off, but yay, very excited. So yeah, like I said, I'm probably not going to have a lot of haul videos just because we don't have a bookstore, so I'm not going to go book shopping all that often. But when I do have stuff to share, I absolutely will. And if I buy things on my Kindle, you know, I'll let you know about that too. So yeah. But very excited, and thank you for joining me today, and I will be back with some more videos soon. Have a great day, guys. Bye.